everybody to Morning Live. It's almost 20 minutes before 8 here on this Monday morning. What a small, incredible gap we've had away from you. But it's been absolutely unbelievable. You won't believe what's been happening in studio. I'm going to fill you in a second. If you've just tuned in, we're talking to renowned psychic medium who is in the country to give us a one-night-only show at Montecasino on the 5th of August. His name, of course, is John Edward. John, thank you. What a pleasure to have you here. So what has happened since we broke away to the sports and the headlines and the news and everything is that somebody has come through, and of course we had to find out who this was for.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people like behind the scenes here. Yeah. So I always say that when I open up, I never know what's going to happen. It's like standing in front of a crowd of people. Yeah. It's like this is like the audience, and whoever's supposed to come through is going to come through. Yeah,
and so I mean you can't control it.
No.
So it's.
That's why when I'm like in my everyday life, I completely power down, off like.
So you can switch off to it if you want to.
Anybody who does this work professionally knows that they have to power down and that there's a time and a place and that it's always inappropriate to enter someone's vibration without their permission.
But what happens if somebody specifically, if I come to you and I say, I want you to do a reading for me?
Right.
What happens
Well, it's different. You're coming for a session. It's just you and I. I open myself up to your energy, and then whoever's going to come through is going to come through. Okay. But if you were standing in a coffee shop and I walk in and I was to approach you without your permission, that's not right. That's wrong. It's karmically wrong. It's like, it's a big no-no. Okay, so what we did is we obviously spoke about the fact that John was going to open up today. So he's opened up to everybody standing in the studio. He was asking me a couple of questions. I was then going and relaying them to everybody else. So then I started writing everything down.
He was written everything down on a piece of paper. Phelan, who was reading the sports news, was unaware of what was going on. Vay, come in, have a seat, because I think you're going to need to sit down for this one. Have a seat, be comfortable. I'm just going to stand here, because this was calling out to Valen. Valen, I mean, you guys take over.
So basically what was happening is I was getting information, and one of the things that I think is really, really important is to make sure that as a medium I deliver the information and not ask, questions. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to show her that I got this first before we started interacting. And just very quickly, I was getting an L name, that there was an L name connection, either living or past in the family. The older person, like a parent who had passed, somebody passed from cardiac issues with an M name sounding in the family. Connected also to somebody with a DN name, like Diane, Don, Deanne, Dennis. That October or the 10th of the month have a meaning, and that there's a father figure, and then you've started validating some of this, correct?
Yeah. So when I was 12, my father, whose name is Milton, Gavin, passed away, and my brother's name is Dean, and my mother's middle name, and she often calls herself Vanessa Lee. So I suppose that's where the L comes from.
And I'll usually get a middle name to distinguish two people with the same first initial. So if there's two people who have a similar name in the family, they'll give me a middle name to kind of get me to go there.
Which is, my name's Valen and my mom's name is Vanessa, both of them starting with V's.
So that would be why I would get the middle name as that. And then he was talking about acknowledging somebody. I asked you if you guys have Sesame Street here, and he was referring to somebody as Cookie Monster, the blue guy.
So my brother, I fight with him all the time about eating too many sweets, and I call him the Cookie Monster.
And then the thing that he was really excited about is that your dad said you have his book. Like, you have his book.
I do. I've got his Bible, and it's one of the most prized things that I have, because he highlighted a lot of things in it. Because he passed when I was young, I always think...
Like, does he see you?
But also, like, I didn't get to know him as an adult, and he didn't get to know me as an adult.
Well, the cool thing that he energetically, and for anybody like that's watching this, whether they get read or not, what I want people to know is that your dad is kind of the opportunity for people to recognize that our loved ones and friends who've crossed over are still with us. So even though you were 12 when he passed, he now sees your child. He sees what's happening in your family. And he was talking about Dean having a middle name with a J, and you were telling me that he doesn't, but there was a joke.
Yeah, so I've got a middle name. My name's Valen Jade, and my brother always says to me, oh, you got the middle name and I didn't, but it's not that my mom didn't want to give him a middle name. She always wanted to give my brother a middle name, and my dad kind of like didn't want to give him a middle name. So it's always like a joke, like he's just got like, a very a kind of common name and no second name, and I've got this very unusual name and a second name, so, you know, I won on the name stakes.
And then he was, the last thing that he showed me was that he was, well, he showed me the number 27, which we couldn't figure out, so full disclosure, sometimes things come through that we can't figure out. And then he was saying that somebody got involved with someone, like dating, that was of uniform, like police or military. And
that's my mom. My mom's been dating somebody, it's like almost her first serious boyfriend since my father passed away so many years ago. And he used to be an officer. He used to be a policeman.
So this is his way of letting you know that he's still with you, he's still around, he still sees what's going on, he sees your child.
Wow.
So I hope that this helps.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
It's amazing.
It's unbelievable.
Wow.
That is amazing. I mean, and this was all just sort of...
Yeah, you asked me, you like, can you read? And I was like, oh, I wasn't ready to do that.
No.
So I was like, okay,
I
I gotta open up. And then I started getting stuff immediately, and I don't know where to put it. So I was like, let me just write this down. Yeah. So in case it didn't make sense to anybody, at least you had it in my handwriting.
Is it, Vay, sorry, are you good?
Yes, yeah.
I'm going to interrupt and do like all these questions now.
I'm going to just, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank
You're very
you.
welcome.
That's amazing.
Sure.
That's amazing. I mean,
Thank you.
It is an incredible thing because, I mean, what do you, thanks, Vay, I mean, what do you hear? Do they talk to you?
What it is it's an energy, and it's an energy that gets downloaded. Literally, it's like I'm being bombarded by energy, and whatever I see, hear, and feel, and I use the Cookie Monster as the example because I didn't know if you guys have the same like television programming, children's program like I would here. So if you didn't have Sesame Street, I would have to find what would the Cookie Monster reference here be.
Yeah.
Because I get it in my frame of reference.
Yeah.
So what I see, hear, and feel, I have to look at and understand and interpret. And everything is very symbolic. So it's kind of like I see images, I feel images, I hear things, and then it's like having a conscious daydream and then trying to figure out what it means.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, we're going to take a break here on the program, but here's an odd question for you. What's your star sign?
I am a Libra.
Yeah, I know that, because I'm a Libran.
And we know it's the best sign, right?
Of course.
So.
And Librans know we're the best signs all the time, won't we? So, I mean, it's quite an easy one for you, because that's the question that we're asking you this morning. What star sign is John? If you are interested, and I know you are, in getting 2 tickets, we're giving away 2 double tickets to go and see John live at Montecasino at the Teatro on Saturday. It's the matinee show. I think it's at 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. That is what you have to tweet us at Morning Live SABC. What star sign is John? And me, by the way. And of course, please ensure that you live in Johannesburg. You can get to Montecasino by Saturday and pick up the tickets before the show. So that's at 3 o'clock. We'll remind you, 2 double tickets. The question again, what star sign is John Edward? Take a break. You don't want to go away. You do not want to leave. I know a lot of you blame me for being late for work, but for this particular interview, your boss must forgive you. I've got all your questions. We're going to answer them after the break. Stay tuned.